Blake Lively wanted you to believe she was the victim. That Justin Baldoni's behavior on set traumatized her, that he was so wildly inappropriate, she had no choice but to lawyer up and seek legal protection. But then the court documents dropped, and suddenly the timeline wasn't timelining. Because those texts she sent, they didn't come after months of harassment. They didn't follow some horrifying on-set meltdown. They weren't part of some Me Too moment gone public. They were from April 2023, before a single scene was filmed. And what Blake wrote in those messages makes one thing crystal clear. This wasn't about safety. It wasn't even about discomfort. This was about control, about a calculated, behind-the-scenes power grab. On April 25, 2023, Blake texted a friend about Justin. She acknowledged he got the rights to what she called a massive book, that he cast himself as the lead and director, and that she chose to bet on him. But then she added, "And I also own a huge piece of the movie, so I'm having to bet on myself." Oh? She owns a huge piece of the movie? Let's pause there. What exactly did Blake Lively bring to the table, other than the Pinterest board for her hair? Because Justin Baldoni spent years building this project. He built the relationship with Colleen Hoover. He secured the rights. He pulled financing through Wayfarer. He developed the script. He assembled the production team. Blake was brought in as talent, period. She didn't fund it. In fact, Steve Sarowitz had to literally go on record and clarify that Blake and Ryan Reynolds did not finance this film, despite rumors that were mysteriously floating around. Rumors that, surprise, surprise, may have started because Blake was running around telling people she owned a huge piece of a movie she didn't lift a finger to build. And let's be clear, what she probably meant was back-end points. Box office compensation if the movie made money. That's not ownership, that's not creative stake, that's a paycheck with some fine print. But Blake wasn't positioning herself as a hired actor with a good deal. She was already spinning this like she had skin in the game, like this was her movie too. And then came the line that explains everything. He has no idea what's getting ready to hit him. Not "I'm worried about this guy." Not "I think I made a mistake." Not even "he's making me uncomfortable." No. She's plotting. This is a woman who has already decided how the story ends, and it ends with Justin Baldoni out of the way. Then came the name-calling. She called Justin a bag of hot gas, a clown, a liar, a fake, full of shit. She made fun of his Instagram posts. Not even in public, but privately to a friend. Just for cringe pleasure. She said he was so cringe, terrified of women, and diagnosed him as a narcissist because apparently Blake went to Yale Medical School in her free time. And then she went even further. She described a moment where Justin cried in a conversation with her. And instead of viewing that as a human moment from a man known for emotional openness, she mocked him. He audibly sobbed. It was the performance of a lifetime. So let me get this straight. A man shows emotion, vulnerability, maybe even disappointment, fear, pressure, actual human things. And Blake's response is to text her friend that it was fake, that it was a manipulation tactic, that his tears weren't real, just some kind of strategic performance. The same woman who would later tell the world she felt unsafe on set was mocking her director for crying in front of her. But sure, she's the one who was traumatized. And her friend was absolutely loving it. He has no idea what is getting ready to hit him, and I bet the wife is dealing with a totally different person than he professes to be on Instagram. Me thinks you have a bit of a narcissist on your hands. And then Blake drops this. His wife, my God. I keep imagining I'm going to have to ask her to blink twice if she needs to be extracted. Extracted, like she's trapped in some hostage situation. Based on what? Justin being earnest, passionate, getting emotional in a meeting? This was never about Justin's wife. Emily Baldoni didn't do anything to Blake. She wasn't involved in this movie. She's not part of the production. And yet, Blake couldn't resist turning her into some character in a fantasy rescue mission where Blake is the heroine and Justin is the villain hiding behind a ring light. It's giving fan fiction. It's giving main character syndrome. It's giving let me center myself in a woman's life I don't even know. And then came the speech. What Blake said directly to Justin's face and then bragged about in texts. I need nothing from you on this film as an actor or director. I'm good. I've got me. I only need one thing from you. Not to make me feel like shit. I don't even need you to make me feel confident. I've got that. I only need the bare minimum from you. Just don't make me feel like shit. That's your only job. I've got the rest." She loved this, told her friend that Justin audibly sobbed after she said it, like she had just delivered an Oscar-winning monologue and brought the room to tears. Spoiler, she was the only one clapping. But now think about what we've been told. Blake claimed Justin had power over her, that he was her boss, that she was afraid, that he controlled the set and made her feel unsafe. But in her own words, she said she needed nothing from him. Not direction, not support, not guidance, not even confidence. She told him his only job was to not make her feel like garbage. Everything else, she had it covered. That doesn't sound like a woman being intimidated. That sounds like a woman laying the groundwork to run the show. And her friend was ready with the pom-poms. "You will be the reason this film gets made and works. Not him, just wait. He will have his meltdown because he's going to realize he isn't all that, and he will have to rely on you." And this is where the intent becomes even clearer. When that happens, please, dear God, gloat, gloat, gloat. This wasn't a trauma response. This wasn't a support group for a woman who felt powerless on set. This was a takedown, a strategy session, a war room. And the target? A man whose greatest offense was that he built a movie Blake Lively wanted more control over. Now, here's what's fascinating. Where are Justin's texts mocking her? Where are his messages calling her names, dragging her, laughing about making her cry? They don't exist. While Blake was texting her friend about how Justin was full of shit, the Wayfarer team was literally praying for unity, praying for the project to succeed, praying for peace on set. Justin didn't call her names, didn't speculate about her husband, didn't trash her to friends behind her back. Why? Because he's the same person in private that he is in public. Blake is not. He has no idea what's getting ready to hit him. She wasn't wrong. Justin really had no idea. No idea that the actress standing across from him on set was already planning his destruction. No idea that his vulnerability would be used against him. No idea that the same person who told him to his face, "I've got me," would later claim she was unsafe around him. But here's the thing about strategy. If you're going to play chess, you better remember your opponent has pieces too. And discovery cuts both ways. Now we've seen who Blake Lively really is, not the victim sobbing to the press, but the aggressor, mocking her co-star's tears in private texts while performing innocence in public. Her friend told her to gloat when Justin had his meltdown. But looking at these court documents, it's Blake's narrative that's melting down. And unlike the performance she accused Justin of giving, this collapse is very, very real.
That's my opinion!